You're welcome to today's edition of Trends on KDM, and on today's episode, we jump straight to a hot trend that is currently all over the world. I woke up this morning and normally I was just surfing through the net and I saw some wild story, and it's spreading like wildfire. The whole of today, this particular story has been the order of the day. Now, normally when somebody is trending on X, it comes with a person's name. But this time around, I think the name is a bit complicated for people to mention. So the guy is actually repping the whole country. Okay, because I think it has something to do with his name. It's a bank, Igonga. Because I don't know how to really mention the name, but this is a young businessman. He's an accountant in the mining sector in Equatorial Guinea. Now, why is this young man trending? He's not so young, personally, if you ask me, but let's put it that way. Why is this man trending? It's a delicate issue. Now, I'm saying it's delicate because if I tell you, you don't go believe him. You would think maybe I'm making something up. But the story is about the fact that the government officials suspected this young man of disbursing some funds, some corruption was brewing at his office. So the government had to actually research into his work. So the security service had to take some of his files and everything to make sure that, they are going through everything to check if the corruption that they are suspecting him of is true or not. Well, whether if somebody sets him up or whatever for all these things to happen the way it's happening, I can't tell. But what happened is, when they were checking his files and everything, they chanced upon a museum. Okay, it's a museum of wild stuff, a museum of, how do I say it? Pleasure Island, It's like a small pleasure island, and then he created a museum inside. And then he was hanging the portraits of different historians, let me put it that way, different historians, different, let me, I don't want to mess with you, so let me go straight to the point. So this man has actually been having sex with a lot of people. Now, some of these people that he had sex with are people that are known, like these are women. Some of them are very matured, and these are big men's, some are big men's wives. Now, if you are dating somebody and this guy actually ends up doing something with your girlfriend, your issue, you won't even talk about it because your own is not serious. Because this guy actually was literally just planting his seeds everywhere, splashing it everywhere. And he's the boss in his office. So literally, almost all the girls in the office has actually have a taste of his pleasure island. Now, there's been a lot going on about this particular issue. Now, some are raising allegations that maybe he finessed or coerced some of these women to actually do what he did with them, because most of them were taped. Okay, and that's even the most delicate part, because it means that those over 400 sex tapes that has been released allegedly, they are not only the people that he has actually slept with. There might be other people, another batch or maybe thousands that he has done with them that probably they didn't provide their consent for him to tape them. Okay, and Charlie, it's interesting because his friends call him sewing machine. Okay, that's his nickname. Okay, sewing machine or something. That's his nickname. So I don't know what he's actually sewing. No, it's a legendary story when you're looking at it from so many angles. Because look, some men don't want their wives to work. I personally met a man that he says he will never let the wife work because he feels like sometimes when these women go to these offices, they have relationship with some of their bosses, especially with people that have higher hierarchy than them. Okay, and it has become a conversation while this issue came up, because now some people are sort of affirming the fact that some men are right from actually stopping their wives from working. That's if you can provide for the house. Because now, I don't know, but women have some kind of weakness for people that are like their bosses, when you go to their offices, the hierarchy, the person that is their bosses and paying them and who is in charge of promoting them. I don't know whether it's because maybe they want to also gain favors to actually have some level of security in terms of finances. But you and I know that women naturally have these sort of soft spots. Let me not say women. Some women or most women have these soft spots for some of their bosses. But this guy right here actually leveled or leveraged on that kind of how do I say, natural weakness that comes with women. And then he slept with almost all the women in the office, because there's a picture that was actually indicating some of the people that they saw in the sex tape. And Charlie, it was almost like all the women. It was left with like two people that probably didn't come into the sex tape. And even with that one, we can't tell whether they didn't come because maybe they didn't allow him to tape it, or he didn't take out his fancy. So out of those women, how many of them could have actually said no to him? Okay, and this is something that most guys are actually thinking about, because this is not a new story. Okay, these things are happening in so many offices. We know. It's not something new. It happens in corporate environment a lot. But for him to actually come out the way he's come out, 400, hey, Charlie. 400, like, Charlie, different women. That's like Solomon kind of vibe, because that's serious. I mean, it's delicate, because now some of these reasons are the reason why young men are struggling to get married. Because imagine, you are a man, you stay at home. Probably you are not even doing anything. Maybe you are faithful to your wife, and you chanced on this video of your wife going naked with the boss, and it's all viral. Now your family will call you, your friends will call you. Some might not even call you because they might feel it's quite embarrassing. They might not know how to even approach you with it if they see it, that they will talk behind you. So imagine some of these men that had their wife in this sex tape, the trauma, the agony they will go through. And the worst part is, he wasn't using protection. All of these whole thing, and it's strange and it's so scary, because look, what if he had a disease and then you go and contract it and give it to your husband? It's like, I don't know, but I mean, it's sad, and at the same time it's strange, because men of our generation are struggling very hard to even stick with a woman. There's a lot of issues with men committing to women, not to even talk about marriage, because now it seems there is no loyalty, commitment in marriages, relationships. Most women are actually looking out for what's good for them. Maybe in traditional sense, when our mothers actually were staying with our fathers and then actually going through life with them in their various stages. Now, our young girls young girls don't want to go through that phase. They want to tag along with a man that is successful already, and then they tap from him. And this is why some of these things happen, because it's sad that now it looks like the moment you have some amount of money, like, you literally have to sort of pick and choose the kind of woman you want, because it's that easy. So I'm not surprised that some of these things are happening, or it happened the way it did, because he's rich, he's good looking, and it's a sad development. Somebody will say that maybe in a certain sense too, the man should rather focus on the kind of woman you are with. Because if you have a woman that has sort of weakness for men, and like maybe some things, you are in trouble. Because so many men have money, so many men are actually powerful. And there are so many places that you see powerful men with a lot of money and everything. So if you have a woman that don't have self-control and then disciplined, this is a free advice. You probably shouldn't be with that person. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, these things will happen to a lot of men. And it's because sometimes they see it and they ignore. They see it and they ignore. And eventually, they get very heartbroken. Because the thing is, you see the signs. You see the signs that this person has this kind of character, or, how do I say it? Behavioral pattern. But maybe sometimes we get carried away, but they say love is blind. So sometimes you will see, but you decide to be blind to maybe the fault of your woman. And at the end of the day, you might find yourself in the situation. So me, when I sit here, I always say that some of the things we talk about here, it has already happened. It's all about maybe what you can learn from the situation. Because any man that sees the wife in this situation, I'm not sure he's going to recover for the rest of his life. Because that's total shame. Your friends will laugh at you. And even to the man that was actually involved. Charlie, he's a married man with 6 children. And I learned the wife actually collapsed after hearing the story. And I don't know how he's feeling now, the mental state he's in, because he's worldwide. Everybody's talking about him. But I feel like we as men too, we should at least exercise some level of self-control. No matter how rich you are. I know I know when you become wealthy, sometimes you don't even try to get to the woman. They will rather even expose themselves in a certain way to seduce you, because it's not like they like you. They don't like you. They like something you have. And then they can't access it without doing it through you. Okay. But you have to have some level of something that will draw you back. Some moral compass. That's why me personally, I don't talk about people that go to church regularly, because I feel sometimes that's the only thing that can sort of like anchor you to your maybe level of discipline. Because if you don't have any moral compass, and then you say that you are using your biological instincts and maybe your mind to do things, you always do things, and at the end of the day you'll be embarrassed. And the wages of sin, they say, is death. I don't think it's really actual death. It's just because it's a form of dying, because that's huge embarrassment. Because you do, when the cup is full, you realize that everybody will see the acts that you are doing. You understand? So, me personally, if you ask me about this story, I think it's one of those things. It happens. We know it's still happening in different corporate environments, but this one specifically, it's huge. I mean, 400 different sex tapes. That is even the ones that we know. So there are actually more girls that probably didn't even come into the scene, but he has actually slept with them. So imagine if this guy, I learned the Attorney General in Equatorial Guinea is actually working on testing him for STI. So imagine if this man has a disease. Maybe let's assume he has an STI, a deadly one. I mean, all these women will spread it to other men, because if a woman actually is doing that with him, the chances of him not sleeping with one man is very high. So he will definitely give it to one man, and the other man will also give it to another, because he might also not be sleeping with her alone, and it keeps on spreading. Charlie, me, this issue, I personally, I don't know what to say about it again, because 400, I thought Solomon was there though, but it seems we have a reincarnated Solomon in Equatorial Guinea. So our man right now, Charlie, he's worldwide, and he's experiencing the fruit of his labor in a sad way, in an embarrassing way. And right now, we just hope that the wife, especially the family, would have the heart to actually go through this level of embarrassment. And to the husbands, if you're a boyfriend, your own is not even part, because who do you cry there? We are talking about serious business. The husbands that have seen their wives in these situations, Charlie, we are praying for strength and maybe forgiveness spirit for them to actually overlook this issue. This will be very, very, very difficult for them to overlook. But let's see what happens. So that's what's happening in the world of trends, and that's what's happening in Equatorial Guinea. Our man is doing his stuff and is putting Equatorial Guinea on the map in a very weird way. So in case you've actually gone on Twitter or X and you've seen any trend related to Equatorial Guinea, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So I don't know what you learned from this situation, but personally, if you ask me, if we're a man, have some level of self-control, no matter how rich you are. If we're a woman, respect yourself, kakra, at least value yourself. You understand? Because, I mean, if they find out that maybe this guy has an STI, I'm sure most of them will be devastated. You understand? So that's what I would say, and that's how I'll end today's episode of Trends on KDM. I'll see you on the other side. Peace.